rapidly in these dry and rather windy conditions.
Another hailstorm strikes Texas, leaving a trail of damage in its wake.
We had several police cars that were damaged by hail.
Rain is good news for areas under drought conditions, but extra water can mean more mosquitoes.
Then you can predict that there probably will be more West Nile cases than we maybe had in previous years.
This image of a bee swarm in Oklahoma went viral, but swarms like this are more common than you may think.
The bee's natural instinct is to swarm, and that's how they reproduce.
And we'll take you high into the Montana mountains where snow has not been cleared from roads all winter long.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. April is peak wildfire season along the East Coast, and this morning we're tracking fires in multiple states. Now, according to one website that tracks fires nationwide, wildfires are burning in at least 12 states east of the Mississippi. This morning, we're taking a closer look at 4 of them, but we're going to start in Florida, where flames broke out Wednesday in Broward County and continued burning yesterday. Smoke from the fire billowed, as you can see here, over the Everglades and led to several road closures. At last word, the fire burned nearly 500 acres and was 65% contained. Officials say no homes or businesses are threatened by this fire. The massive wildfire that broke out in Pine Barrens in New Jersey earlier this week is still burning. As of yesterday afternoon, has consumed around 15,000 acres and was 50% contained. A 19-year-old man is now charged with arson in connection with that fire. Officials say he started a bonfire and didn't put it out completely. Firefighters should get some help, though, from Mother Nature, as rain is in the forecast for tomorrow. And in Pennsylvania, fire crews are battling a fire that's been burning since Wednesday afternoon in a state park near Harrisburg. It is one of at least 2 fires in the park. Some homes had to be evacuated on Thursday. Grace Ruffalo has an update on what crews are doing to get this first one under control and the factors making the fight a challenge.
Multiple fire crews have been working both high and low to contain this wildfire.
We have about 50 people out there working on the fire, along with some heavy equipment and some air resources as well.
Crews have made progress in the fight. Initial reports said the fire covered around 200 acres. Now it's closer to 50 to 75 acres. However, containment is low right now, which fire crews say is because of dry conditions.
Really, 3 big things. You have the heat, the warm days, the low relative humidity, and then you add some wind to that, and it just makes it much more difficult to contain these fires.
Cumberland County Emergency Management now says homes along Thompson Hollow Road are being evacuated because of the fire. But despite potential challenges, fire crews are optimistic.
Right now, the way things are looking, they're sitting in a really good position. Unless the weather pushes it really hard, that road should stop it with the help of the firefighters.
Look at this. This is actually that smoke that you just saw from that fire. So it's not rain that you're seeing here, even though it looks like you would normally see on the radar. This is actually smoke from that fire showing up on our radar. Very interesting. All right, let's talk about why we had that. You heard that firefighter talking about the dry conditions, not just on the ground, but the low relative humidity. So that atmosphere all around us is very, very dry. It's what gives us these comfortable days. And then we have all that fuel. What is the fuel? That's all that leftover stuff from a harsh winter. It's the old leaves, the branches. That all adds into the potential for that fire to burn. That's all the fuel. And then you got to be really careful with any smoking device. Maybe you're discarding a cigarette. You got to do that properly. That can easily start a fire, and those fires spread rapidly in these dry and rather windy conditions. So unfortunately, the recipe is perfect for a high fire danger.
And when it comes to fighting wildfires, aircraft play a major role. Justin Berger gives us an up-close look at the planes that take the firefighters to the skies in North Carolina.
The Super Scooper is an undeniably cool airplane, only to be outdone by functionality.
We have a water source nearby. We're good at putting a lot of water on a fire in a very short period of time.
From a distance, the process appears fluid. Up close,
they're only about, maybe this big or so, but 1,412 gallons gets forced up through here as we're skimming across the top of the water. Once the tanks are full, we can control these. The probes will actually then go back up, and the aircraft will start accelerating.
The drops are surgical. Pilots receive a target description to water the area in order to best support the ground crews. Farrell says the company record is 101 drops in a day.
It's a tight fit inside the Canada Air CL-215T, but these planes are essential for firefighting here in North Carolina. These are the water tankers where thousands of gallons of water goes in and out each day.
This big thing right here is just a big overflow. So as we're filling the tanks and we're on the scoop, you'll see water shooting out. That's telling you the tank is full. But it also serves another purpose for when we're dropping the water. It lets air come through the tank so we get a nice, consistent drop.
The super scoopers are contracted out by the U.S. Forest Service. They go where the need is. Firefighters across the mountains tell us, without air support like this, the risk of further fire spread increases.
Wind chills and roofs were heavily damaged during a hailstorm that moved across the Texas Panhandle Wednesday night. People spent Thursday assessing the damage through Powell reports.
I'm in Dumas, where residents, along with the city of Dumas and Moore County, are assessing the damage that was caused by Mother Nature.
Fortunately, some of the vehicles that we were driving were damaged. Animal control vehicles suffered some serious windshield damage. We had several police cars that were damaged by hail.
You know, some of our flat roofs are covered with water. I know we've had possibly some sheriff's units that have been damaged. And, you know, and that they have to be on the road 24/7, so mainly get the glass repaired, replaced.
We started hearing the hail, so we looked outside and I started videotaping on my Snapchat. But then we were worried about the cars, and that was it. We just waited it out until it's finished.
Flood warnings are still posted in Louisiana, where heavy rain on Thursday morning turned streets into rivers, parking lots into lakes, and neighborhoods and businesses really a soggy mess. Residents and business owners were left to push out the water and dry off their belongings as they recovered from the intrusion. And the threat of more severe storms continues today. The greatest risk for severe storms in the Texas Panhandle, including the cities of Lubbock and Amarillo. Large hail and wind damage is likely. And then looking ahead, there's a chance of severe storms early next week in the northern plains. San Antonio has been suffering with drought conditions for some time, so any rain is a welcome sight, but can also come with an unfortunate side effect. Pooled water is a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. San Antonio meteorologist Joe DiCarlo has more.
More rain always means more mosquitoes.
Molly Keck is an entomologist with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service in San Antonio. She says our mild South Texas weather means we have to deal with mosquitoes year-round, but they're the most active during warm and wet stretches.
So you can get bitten by a mosquito 12 months out of the year, any day of the year. But the warmer it gets, the quicker their life cycle happens.
And while recent rain has been a welcome sight, it could bring more mosquitoes and possibly more mosquito-borne viruses.
So if we continue to get good rain like this, good soaking rain where we have a lot of water sitting and more mosquitoes breeding, then you can predict that there probably will be more West Nile cases than we maybe had in previous years.
The biggest red flag after a mosquito bite would be if you develop a high fever.
Big things we think about with mosquito-borne illnesses is high fevers right after a bite. Tends to be uncommon.
A bite may itch, but scratching it may cause even more issues.
If we scratch something and the skin breaks open, there's always a risk that it can become infected from just the skin breaking open itself. So some people get mosquito bites, itch them a lot, even if it's in their sleep, and then they'll get a skin infection on top of it.
The best thing to do to avoid mosquitoes is to drain any standing water and use insect repellent when outdoors, especially during dusk or dawn.
Road crews in Montana are starting to clear snow-covered roads for the spring season. One of those roads is Beartooth Highway, which winds through the mountains to an elevation of more than 10,000 feet. It's typically closed from mid-October through the start of Memorial Day weekend, so plenty of snow can pile up right here. Clearing the feet of snow is a monumental task and one that requires plow operators that don't have a fear of heights. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, April showers bring May flowers. That's what you've been told, but is there any truth to it? We'll find out. And find out why bee swarms are most common during late April and early May.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. Through the day on Friday, we are going to see increasing clouds throughout much of the Northeast, some scattered showers, especially in areas of western New England. And then as we head through the day on Saturday, steady, if not heavy rain throughout much of New England, anywhere from Maine down towards New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey as well. And this will continue through the evening. Wraparound moisture will bring some rain and snow showers up towards northern New England. Then high temperatures today topping out in the 60s and 70s.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Javeli. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Tracking a system to bring some rain chances for your Friday. Looks like mainly in the afternoon and evening we'll see scattered showers developing to the west, and a few of them will drift across the region throughout the overnight hours. And then by Saturday, still seeing rain and possibly some thunderstorms along that cold front as it passes by. We'll see temperatures dropping, and along with the humidity, we'll still get to the 70s for highs on your Friday. And even Saturday afternoon, we'll see 70s, but 50s off to the mountains.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. Showers and thunderstorms are possible through the day Friday across parts of northern Alabama, Georgia, and into Mississippi as well, and then extending into the Carolinas by Saturday. Dry conditions continue for much of the state of Florida with a persistent east wind flow, leaving a low rain chance around through the weekend. Afternoon highs will range anywhere from the 70s in the Carolinas to the 80s across parts of North Florida and the Gulf Coast, near 90 degrees possible in Tampa.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
This viewer photo from Wednesday's heavy hailstorm in the Texas Panhandle shows how the stones progressively got larger. To South Carolina, where this lightning bolt zapped the ocean near Myrtle Beach, and the sky, water droplets, sunlight, refraction, and a couple of reflections helped form this double rainbow treat Thursday morning in Tennessee.
For more content like this, subscribe to the National Weather Desk's YouTube channel.
Well, last week, a social media post went viral after a man posted video of bees swarming around an intersection in Moore, Oklahoma. But as David Chazanel found out, it's a common sight this time of year across the country.
Gobble, gobble. First, there was Tom the Turkey entering goblin mode in 2023. 2 years later, in the same area, Caleb Lance and his family saw what they say they couldn't believe.
What is this, the plague? I rolled down my back window and my son started freaking out because he thought they were going to get in the car. So he was like, roll it up, because they were just everywhere.
Moore beekeeper Angela Van Houten says she had a good laugh watching the video.
Someone sent the plague. Those are bees.
So we've been seeing it a lot on Facebook, people wondering what's going on.
Van Houten says what Lance saw was a bee swarm, as that usually happens this time of year during the spring.
They're coming out of winter mode. You know, they've been kind of calm over the winter. A lot of winter bees have died, so the queen has to start laying eggs in overdrive to make up for the next generation of bees in the spring.
Van Houten says the queen bee can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day, making the high boxes a tight squeeze for the bees who were already staying there.
The bee's natural instinct is to swarm, and that's how they reproduce. So the queen and half the population will leave the hive. They will swarm off.
According to Van Houten, the queen is larger than the rest of the bees, so she can't fly as far, leading to moments like today.
There's bugs everywhere.
So what the bees do is they take pit stops along the way to look for a new permanent location to live. And so when they're flying from one pit stop to another, that's usually when people see them flying.
We all know that bees are important for flowers, but do April showers really bring May flowers? Meteorologist Violet Skybor takes a look at the numbers in the Syracuse area to find out.
Why is April specifically mentioned
when we talk about May flowers? Well, it is one of the top 5 rainiest months in Syracuse, but notice, really not by much. It actually has more to do with the temperatures, because in the months of April and May, as we begin to warm up, the soil thaws and those perennial plants start to bloom. So it does have to do a little bit with the rain, though, because we need rain for the flowers to grow, but not too much. Too much rain reduces the oxygen in the soil, leading to root suffocation and rot. So that can actually kill off some of the flowers. And even in the opposite sense, not enough rain means photosynthesis is not producing enough food for the flowers, and it stunts the blooms or even less flowers overall. Plus, the temperature plays a big role, as I mentioned. Of course, we want it to warm up, but too much heat leads to dehydration and less flowers are produced. So we have to have a happy medium between how much rain we get and how warm it is in the spring months.
Now that we are inching closer to summer, you can expect to sweat more. So why does our bodies act this way? Meteorologist Miriam Caldwell explains from Pensacola, Florida, where temperatures are in the 80s.
Well, here recently, it's really starting to feel a lot like summer, that feeling being sweat. And that's because warm temperatures, in addition to high humidity values, tend to have that effect on us. So why do we sweat? Well, our bodies do like to stay at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So when it's hot and humid and our body temperature rises, sweat is released from our skin. And this is our body's natural way of working to cool itself off. And on a less humid day, that water from our skin, from the sweat, would evaporate and draw heat out of the body through evaporative cooling. But on the muggy days, sweat fails to evaporate from the skin due to the air already being full of water molecules, failing the ability to collect more. And this is what leaves us with that hot and sticky feeling. So as we really start to transition into those hot, muggy days, remember that sweat is just our body's way of trying to cool off. So be sure to stay hydrated and find some shade to beat the heat.
We talk a lot about clouds here at the National Weather Desk, and today we want to tell you about the Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds. To do that, let's take a look at a recent TikTok post from meteorologist Kirsten Clark.
So this picture was actually taken by me because a few weeks ago, for the first time ever, I actually got to see Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds right here in Charleston for the first time. So Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds, they're going to be these wave-like clouds that you see right there at the top of that, or just above that stoplight there. Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds are a rare phenomenon. The conditions have to be just right, and typically you're going to see these clouds on a breezy or windy day. Let's start off with your basic cloud. So you have your cloud, and now you have 2 different layers of air. So you're going to have a layer of air that's going to be moving much faster, but then you've also got a layer of air right below it that's going to be much slower. This is also called wind shear. So when you've got that shear, the 2 layers of air moving at different speeds, you're gonna start to notice some unique and sometimes rare cloud formations. So with the Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds, you have this faster layer of air at the top here, moving over top of that slower layer of air. So that's then going to start creating these wave-like clouds, these ocean wave-like clouds.
This week's episode of our podcast, Off the Radar, was in honor of Earth Day. Meteorologist Emily Gracie spoke to an expert that has been studying the hole in the ozone layer since its discovery decades ago to find out how a global effort helped not only stop the hole from growing, but actually began to shrink it. Here's a video preview of that episode.
In the 1980s, scientists made a startling discovery. A massive hole in our planet's protective ozone layer was growing over Antarctica. The culprit? Chemicals called CFCs found in everyday products like hairspray and refrigerators. The prognosis was dire: increased skin cancer, crop damage, ecosystem collapse. But now, nearly 4 decades later, that same ozone hole is healing. The Montreal Protocol, perhaps the most successful international environmental agreement in history, has led to a 99% reduction in the ozone-depleting substances.
Fluorofluorocarbons since the year 2010 have been fully controlled
for consumption and production.
And according to MIT's recent research, the healing is directly linked to humanity's deliberate choices and actions. In a world that often feels paralyzed by environmental crisis, this Earth Day we are going off the radar and celebrating a triumph of human determination and cooperation. This isn't just a scientific victory, it's proof that when we choose to act together, we can heal our planet.
Nations can get together and take action on global problems.
And you can find Off the Radar anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. New episodes drop every Tuesday. And time now for a short break. As we go, we're going to leave you with views of the Colorado Rockies.
Well, good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Scattered showers and thunderstorms working their way to the east across the Midwest for the day today. And as we take a look at the big picture here, it's going to be wet for a lot of the Midwest, especially if you live in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes today. Tomorrow, the sun tries to come out across the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, but a little bit of rain does start to kick its way back in from the west as we head into late Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures warming up.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. It's a little cool up north. We're into the 50s, but still pretty humid down toward the south, into the 70s, almost 80 degrees down into Brownsville. A cold front, dry line combination will create some showers, thunderstorms. They could fire up across central Texas and mainly up across the Texas Panhandle early today and late tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, temperatures are going to warm up in the heat and the humidity. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Hi there, everybody, and a good Friday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. April is nearly coming to a close, and the final Friday of the month going out with some beautiful weather around the PNW. 72 today in the Emerald City and nearly 80 in Spokane. Meanwhile, we're well into the 80s to the 90s from Vegas to Phoenix with a lot of heat in the desert Southwest. And our next weather maker, this round of rain coming into the Bay Area, leaving us with mountain snow as we head into the weekend in the Sierra Nevada. And that's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
This week saw the 129th running of the Boston Marathon. It's not the only race taking place this week. Tomorrow, runners will compete in the Salt Lake City Marathon. Meteorologist Lindsay Storrs has the forecast.
The Salt Lake Marathon is happening this Saturday morning. Close to 10,000 runners will be racing in this event. And Mother Nature has given us beautiful weather for it. We're going to see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be really comfortable to start in the low 50s, warming into the low 60s by 10 a.m. And if you're still running in the early afternoon, temps will get up into the low 70s. So a little warm at that point. Also, our winds will start picking up in the afternoon as well. But during the morning hours, those winds should generally be about 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Looking for more weather news and videos? Check us out on social media. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. We will be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Friday. Have a wonderful weekend as well, and we'll see you right back here on Monday.